So that is the final moments of the game, the Super Bowl, the end of the season. They talk about Mike McDonald being the winner, the winning coach, and being the coach of the future. But for me, that signified just the end of the NFL this season, and it couldn't have come soon enough, much like last year.
I tell you that the game was devastating. The playoffs were awesome, a lot of great playoff games, but the Super Bowl culminated in just an awful game. I know we'll get into it, but the NFL got what they deserve with the fraudulent New England
Oh,
Patriots and their strength of schedule, which is really more like the weakness of schedule that they dealt with. But let's get
Yeah,
into it. Yeah.
I would describe it like Kramer just described slippery Pete. Super Bowl was the best and the worst. The
Yeah.
best, the best because I loved every minute of watching those frauds just get their asses handed to them. It was so great. I enjoyed it so much. However, it was the worst Super Bowl from the actual play
Oh,
perspective. I don't think there was one that was worse. I mean, I think the Patriots and Rams a few years ago was worse than this one, but this one was really bad. I mean, just disgusting to watch.
yeah, it was hard to watch.
so we are the three Angry Giant fans of the Jet Fan Podcast. Tonight it's two Angry Giant fans. So it's your host Scott Cardone and Angry Jets fan Novak. Giant Mike is not with us tonight, and we're all family on this show, and we know each other quite well, and we do have some condolences to send out. Mike's mother-in-law unfortunately passed away last week, and so our thoughts are with Mike and Bonnie. Our prayers are with them too, and like I said, we take this stuff very seriously as a group. We have a lot of fun doing this, but in the end of the day, we're all friends and we're all very close.
Yeah, sending my best to Bonnie and Mike and
Yeah.
difficult time and wishing him the best. Wish he were here, but certainly understand that he can't. And yeah, all the best to the family.
Yeah, condolences, Bonnie and Mike. So we're thinking about you. Get through this hard time. So we'll just have faith and get through it.
Yeah. And Mike gets to get out of having to recap what was just a brutal final game, like Cardone touched upon. But before we do that, let's give a shout out. This is one I like just the name of the town. So, hello, Fuquay Varina, North Carolina. Population
Yes.
35,000. It was founded by Frenchman William Fuquay, and it was originally called Fuquay Springs because of the mineral springs in the town. It merged with neighbor town Varina in 1963 and really took off from there. It's one of the largest. It has one of the largest parks to acreage ratios in the United States, and it's the home of Count Grog, who is a pro wrestling promoter. I never
Huh.
heard of him, by the way. But you know what I always think about things when I hear about springs? Like people used to go to places for the healing aspects of water.
I don't know how are we
It's
glossing over Fuquay Varina?
Fuquay.
Is that like two guys came there or two women or a guy and decided to put their names together? I mean, how does this origin happen?
Well, part of it was William Fuquay, so we know the
Okay,
Fuquay part, but
then who's Varina? Where did he come into the picture or she come into the picture?
I don't have a Rita backstory.
I mean, come on, man. We got to get the. And where is this in
It's
North
in North.
Carolina?
It's
Yeah, I
right
was good.
outside of Raleigh,
It
actually.
is outside of Raleigh, not that
It's in
far from
Wake
Raleigh.
County. Yeah, Wake County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually had my I guess he'd be an uncle-in-law. Steph's uncle used to live in Fuquay, Verena.
Fuquay.
So
Sounds like you're saying it
I
wrong.
was
It's got you got to be
Yeah.
right. I
I
mean,
think
you've butchered a few over this past
Yeah.
season. Did you get this one
Is
right?
this
I think I think it is Fuquay Verena. I
are
think
we
it is. I
getting
think it's
Bengal
right.
starters already in the first 10 minutes here? What?
I think it's Fuquay Verena.
Okay. Well, let's go with it.
I'm
That's
going
fine.
with it. So the Super Bowl boring is was my
Oh,
take on
oof.
it. I mean, for a while there, it rivaled like there was no offense. I'll talk a little bit in my pet peeve about the aspect of defense. Both Drake May and Sam Darnold, at one point, they were both under 500 and under 500 throwing by a far margin. I think they both finished around 500 or 50% in their completion percentage. Um, but the game was ruled by field goals in Seattle's defense and New England's ineptitude.
Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot on this pod about we want to see some defense, right? We want to see teams get stops. We want to see teams get off the field. But that was just unbearable. It
It
just was.
was.
At one point, didn't I think it was New England? They had, aside from the kneel down, didn't they punt the first eight possessions?
Eight possessions. Yeah,
Was it the first eight, Novak?
it was first eight.
Yeah, yeah, that's rough, man.
I mean,
Uh, it yeah, you're a Super Bowl. You want to see some defense, obviously, but you want to see some scoring. You want to see just some clean, crisp football. And but give Seattle a lot of credit, man. Their defense was flying around. This was sort of like last year's game when the Eagles demolished the Chiefs in a way where the game, even though the score didn't indicate it, you got the sense even at 9-0, then 12-0. I'm like, how the hell is New England going to score? How are they going to put up any points? You couldn't see them moving down the field. So from a competitive standpoint, awful game. If you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, unbelievable game. And of course, you heard about all the revenge factor from the Malcolm Butler play and stuff. I think it takes a little bit away from or the sting away from that. That's
it
never
does
going to go away
actually.
completely. But
Yeah.
I think the way they just beat down this fraudulent Patriot team has got to put some of that to bed. If you're a Seattle fan, so
I mean, totally agree. And it's not even just the game. Guys, the lead up to this game, because we haven't been on the pod in 2 weeks,
mhm.
there was nothing. There was
No,
no juice to this
none.
Super Bowl whatsoever. There wasn't storylines. I mean, we regurgitated the three storylines that they kept talking about on the last pod, but leading up to it, there was nothing. And I was trying to figure out why. Is it just so boring? There's nothing to it. I felt obligated to watch, and I think these teams, it's the Pacific Northwest for Seattle. We don't see them that much. They don't get a lot of, a pub. And then there's no Tom Brady, there's no Patrick Mahomes, there's no Joe
Yeah,
Burrow, there's no Matt Stafford. It was just a bore, all of it. And from the kickoff, from the get-go, it was bad. And you're right, Cardone, the defense for Seattle was they're out of their
flying.
minds.
Yeah,
However, that offense was completely overmatched. They had no business being in that Super Bowl, and they got 100% exposed.
yeah.
And you know what? The greatest thing for me, and I don't want to do recency bias, right? Because I really don't want to. I'm not so worried about a dynasty here. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's one game, but they didn't beat anybody this year, and their playoff run was a joke. And if it wasn't for Brandon Cooks, that ridiculous call, this would have been Bills
Yeah.
Seahawks, and we would have loved that Super Bowl.
Yeah. And Novak, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention I think the Patriots look more like one of those teams like the Panthers or, you know, a Falcons team, one of those guys that gets into the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
they make the Super Bowl and that's it. That's the apex of that current
Yeah.
progression. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'll say this about the lead up to the game. We were talking before we came on. I was at a wedding in DC, and I never miss the start of a Super Bowl. We normally have people over. We normally have a party. We were up in DC on Wednesday preparing for a wedding, and all the talk with all the people I was with was about the Olympics. We didn't talk about the game at all. And I actually did something uncharacteristic. I put $50 on Seattle to cover because it was 4.5. The spread was 4.5, and I thought, well, Seattle's going to blow New England out,
Yeah.
which they ended up doing. But
Hmm.
I thought to myself,
Yeah.
I normally don't do that with conviction, but this had such a feel of one of those 80s Super Bowls where the outcome was pretty much predetermined. You just had to sit down and watch the game. And because I was driving back from DC, I got back to the game, midway through the first quarter, and I don't feel like I missed anything, you
You
know?
didn't. No, and Novak, I think you mentioned it during the thread. You just touched on it where we didn't there was no, yeah, I was traveling last week for work. So I was on the West Coast, then I was up in the Northeast. I was traveling a lot. So it was an untypical week for me in terms of leading up to the Super Bowl, watching, a little bit. I usually like to watch a little bit of some of the talking heads give their
Hmm.
thoughts and all that bullshit, but none of it. And nobody, same thing, like you said, even from a social aspect, like on Sunday, I don't know if anybody was having parties or anything. We flew back. We had a long week. We flew back Sunday, so We just watched a game at home, and it was the most uneventful Super Bowl in my past, as long as I can remember.
Yep.
As far as the buzz and the vibe around it, and the game, kind of mirrored the lack of buzz, right?
Yeah.
During the week. It just had
100%.
no vibe. It had no fervor. It had nothing. It's
No.
uh,
I, and look, we're talking about what we did. I had knee surgery, so I couldn't go anywhere. I had nothing to do but watch this. And I picked that date so I could sit around and watch the pregame and whatnot. I didn't watch 1 second. I watched the
I,
WM Waste
yeah,
Management golf tournament. I
yeah.
had,
Well,
I had
that
that
was
was
good.
great.
Yeah, Matsuya. Yeah, exactly. I mean, guys, I'm not kidding. When I said when I watch, first of all, I watched nothing during the week.
No.
I did not watch 1 minute. I turned the game on as the national anthem was going, and even then I still paused it. I refused to even watch and listen to that. I'm like, I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to go to the game after at kickoff. I
Yeah.
can't watch anything now. I have been reduced to complete sawdust as far as the pregame, the halftime, the post, all of it. Halftime, absolutely not. We went to the kitchen, to finish off some more, like a second helping of Chinese food that we ordered, before the game. I'm not watching any of this stuff.
It
I
was
love to hate the stuff I love. This is like I mean, that's the culmination of that day is the Super Bowl.
mhm.
As much as I love it, I hate it.
It was bad. And they have to have a concert before the game.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we doing? Before the game, halftime, after, like enough. It was supposed to start at 6:30. I'm like, can we kick the ball off already? I was so bored and it was
uh,
10 minutes in.
it's everything but football on the actual game day.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Terrible.
and the stars of the game were Jason Myers, the field goal kicker, and the punter from
Oh, of
Australia, who I wish the Giants had a punter like.
course.
That guy was money. He was putting him inside the 5 on like he did
Yeah,
like 3 times. Well, what do we say? You can't win games with kicking field goals, right? Well, at one point they're up 12-0, 4 field goals, and the game was over.
game was
So
over.
get out.
Yeah, yeah. Enough of that. Yeah,
I,
Myers 5 for 5. All within his long was 41, so it wasn't like the guy was banging 55 yarders all game. But points are points, man. I mean, and he broke the record.
Yeah.
What's amazing when teams nobody takes kicks field goals anymore. In Super Bowl 60, you get a record breaking effort from Myers. He made 5. He was 5 for 5. No one had ever made 5 field goals in a game. Super Bowl.
Nope.
Yeah.
17. Yeah, I think he holds the record now for most points in a Super Bowl because he had 17 because he had two
Yeah.
extra points. So I think there was a record there too. And if it wasn't for Walker, I mean, could a kicker actually win an MVP? The NFL wouldn't allow it, right? I mean,
No,
there's no way.
he'd have
I
to
think a
kick like
I think a
9.
defensive player could, but I don't know what defensive player you'd
They,
pick.
they uh,
You know, I like. Could
didn't
you give it to a unit?
didn't they give it to the Steel Curtain, the defensive line at one point? There was a
I
unit that won it, I thought.
I don't think so because I think LC Greenwood won it or something like that. But like defensive players are very rare. I think Ray
Yeah,
Lewis
It
got
is.
it's
it.
rare.
Ray
The,
Lewis got it for the Baltimore Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Chuck Howley got it
the
for Dallas
Well,
Cowboy,
Super
Richard
Bowl.
Dent in 85 Bears, it was
Yeah.
Dent.
yeah, the Cowboy, one of the
Well,
Cowboys got it too. The guy
yeah,
that got the interception for a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
well,
I
that's the only
forget his
one
name.
still, and probably will always be the MVP from a losing team. It was Super Bowl 5.
Oh, was it
Chuck,
really?
Chuck
hmm?
Howley, right?
No, it was Howley.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 5 when the Colts beat Dallas on a last second field goal. Freaking because it was like the what's the game called, the Blunder Bowl or something like that. There were like 8 or 9
Oh,
turnovers combined in that game or something. Who remembers Super Bowl 5? Nobody. But
yeah, right.
yeah.
Well, I know what
Anyway.
Novak was talking about. There was a guy in the '90s that had the
Yes, that
interception.
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget his name. It was
Oh,
a
oh, oh, the guy on the Cowboys. It was
yeah,
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
the
Yes.
cornerback Larry Brown, because fucking what's his name? Uh God, I'm forgetting the quarterback for the Steelers in that game.
O'Donnell.
Bobby
Neil
Brister.
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell.
Oh, Neil down. Yeah.
Neil
Yeah, no.
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell's just throwing lollipops out there in the flat to nobody.
Yep, that was another bad Super Bowl
That was
too.
a bad Super Bowl.
But I know I was going to ask you guys this question. Do you think was no recency bias, honestly, do you think this was the worst Super Bowl ever in your lifetime, let's call it?
I was actually going to get to that in my pet
Well,
Oh, you were.
peeve,
Okay.
but no. I'll answer this. I mean, I think this is probably top three of the
Yeah.
worst Super Bowls. Um, I think what bothered me most is that they tried to build this up into be something it wasn't. I wasn't alive for well, I was alive, but I didn't recognize a lot of the early '70s Super Bowls that might have been worse. But this was just a terrible game all around. I mean, New England scored at the end to just even close the gap a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing there.
I don't know what one that sticks out in my mind is the last the fourth of the the Niners dynasty when they fucking demolished the
Oh,
Broncos.
the
Because
Chargers.
no, the
No,
Broncos. It was
the
actually that was
Broncos,
Steve
yeah.
Young.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
In they won 55-10 or something like
yep.
that. It was
Hmm.
I was at that point Denver was getting blown out every Super Bowl, first by the Giants and then the
Hmm.
Redskins and then Montana and that team. And then you ran into the Bills. Maybe the Bills Cowboys, the last one, that 52-17 one where
That was
they
bad too.
That was
the of course the Leon Lett freaking bullshit. That was a bad Super Bowl. There's been a lot of bad
there was
ones.
one back in there too, Tampa and Pittsburgh, way back in '78, maybe.
Yeah. And Tampa and Oakland was bad too in like
Tampa,
2003.
Oakland. Oh, you mean the Rams and the Steelers?
Yeah, Rams
Yeah,
Steelers. That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that was bad. But even with those blowouts though, the only thing I will say is yeah, there were blowouts, but there were scoring and there were like big
yeah.
time players. I felt like with
Right.
this, it was just
True.
there was nothing going on. I fuck four field goals. Like I know we believe in field goals, don't get me wrong, but it is boring, right? It's not like
Yeah.
exciting. There wasn't any like so I personally think that the Rams Patriots from a few years ago was the worst I've ever seen, but this was a very close second. And the only reason I probably say the other one is because the Patriots won. At least with this, I got to see those losers reduced to nothing. So that
Yeah.
was great.
You know what I think too? I think the Patriots are a little bit exposed. I won't say in coaching as a whole, but they didn't seem to do anything to adapt to what
No.
the Seattle was doing. And it was almost like Vrabel was resigned to the fact they were just going to lose this game.
Well, that's a good
Yeah.
question because so it was 19 to nothing at one point, right? And the Patriots got their first touchdown. Why are you not going for two
Yeah.
to cut it to 11?
So Novak, great point. I'm sitting there on the couch thinking it came to me, and then of all the fucking times we throughout the season when
Yep.
coaches go for it go for two, absolutely unnecessary, not no, and that was the one time I'm like they should have went for two to cut
Yeah.
it to 11. That
Yeah.
shows that Vrabel wasn't even thinking,
No. How
wasn't
do you not?
thinking.
Because 19 to 6 is 13 points. It's still two touchdowns. Whether it's 19-7 or 19-6
Correct.
doesn't make a difference.
Yep.
But 11, you got a field goal and a touchdown and 2 point convert.
I'm
Like,
glad you brought that up because I had that I didn't have it written down, but it was in my head, and I was thinking, yeah, not that it would have mattered because obviously, but
no, but
no,
still,
but for the purposes of our pod and for what we like to analyze and talk
yeah,
about, yeah, unbelievably, the one time I think Tirico did mention it after the commercial
he
break.
did.
He did
Yeah.
because I was thinking like these jackoffs aren't going to mention it, are they? And
Yeah.
he did. Tirico mentioned it, but that just shows right there that Vrabel and that they were just rattled by the game.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not, like I said in the opening, Patriots don't really scare me.
No,
Like I thought, here we go, this dynasty again.
no.
I mean, and I don't want to just do it based on it's not one game though. So I'm not just saying this because they played terribly in the Super Bowl. They shouldn't have beat the Broncos if what's his name played. They shouldn't have beaten the Texans if CJ Stroud was anything other than the worst quarterback I've ever seen. And I would also say they probably shouldn't have beat the Chargers if it were not in New England. So I, I,
Like, I wonder what a guy like Josh Allen thinks to himself when
uh,
he's watching that game.
total missed
You
opportunity.
you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like right,
yeah,
especially this year with like you mentioned, like no Lamar Jackson, no Mahomes, no and
Burrow.
no Burrow. And you're dealing and the Bills still they can't get through the playoffs. They can't. You got Drake May running around. Now, would Allen? He certainly would have performed better, but I'm not sure how many teams are beating that Seahawk team with that or that defense. Man, that would have been we would have seen a better game from a lot of other quarterbacks and other teams for sure. But I don't know, man. That Seattle D was really they were just flying and buzzing around.
What I liked was Collinsworth kept trying to make the game seem like it was going to be, still a game. And at one point he says, "Well, Drake May now is seeing the field really well. He's starting to, he's starting to figure out what's going on with the Seattle D, and on the very next play, he throws a pick into like
Yeah.
triple coverage
Yeah, that was a
to,
CJ Stroud throw.
to
I mean,
Julian Love.
Yeah.
Former Giant, by the way, two former Giants got a ring in this game, Leonard Williams and Julian Love.
well, s-
Yeah.
same with the Jets, Leonard Williams, Jason Myers, Sam Darnold. I
Sam
mean, the list
Darnold.
goes
Yeah.
on.
Jason Myers was a
He was a
Jet.
Jet for 1 year in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys got anything else about this game or from around the
I
league this
I
week?
do have something on this game that I wanted to talk about because it's something that I've mentioned a number of times. I know you guys agree. How does JSN come back out and play? Come
Uh,
on.
They, I,
because it's the Super Bowl
He
and
goes
he's
into
not
the
gonna,
blue
yeah.
tent, and not only does he not just go into the blue tent, they take him back to the locker room, which
Yeah.
in any other, if that's week 5 against the Jaguars, what are the odds he's coming back in that game?
Yeah.
no,
None.
I think Novak, you've hit the head on the nail here when you said in years past, you said anytime in the playoffs, the concussion protocol goes out the window.
Yeah.
And I think that's right. You see players not having to go through the rigor that they'd had to go through in the regular season. And this is particularly bad because the Jigma leaves the field, like you
He was
said.
woozy. You could see him walking around
Yeah,
spaced out.
Oh yeah.
he goes into the tent. He's in the tent actually for a little bit, goes to the locker room. He's in the locker room for a little bit, and yet comes back and plays. Now he was not much of a factor in this game, but the point you made on the text thread and the point you're making tonight, how is he even allowed to be out there?
He shouldn't have been. And if it
Shouldn't
wasn't
have
him, if it were a nondescript special teamer, he's not going back in so that the NFL could say, well, NFL, the concussion protocol is the same. But because it's JSN and he's the offensive player of the year, and this is the Super Bowl and ratings are at a premium here, of course he goes back in the game. It was such bullshit. I couldn't believe it well, actually, I could believe it, and I'm glad it did. And no one's talking about it, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
No, and no one will talk about it because it'll put player safety at risk.
The other thing that no one seemed to talk about, because I could have swore I saw a fist fight break out in the game.
Oh yeah,
And
Diggs.
not only were there no ejections, but there weren't even flags.
No,
Do I have that right? I mean,
yes,
No.
no flags.
By the way,
So
did you like Terry McCauley's explanation? We cannot do anything from New York's standpoint because no flags were thrown.
uh-huh.
So
I see.
what does replay assist actually do? I
Who
really want to
knows,
know.
man?
It really doesn't help. Like you
Well,
said, there's not only a push out of bounds, but then there was a punch thrown.
well, Cardone,
Punches
you
are
bring
being
it.
thrown.
How do they not throw a flag?
I'm yelling from my couch like, this asshole just got himself thrown out of a Super Bowl. And not only
Nothing.
did it, not even a flag, let alone thrown out.
And, and so the next question has to be, and Scott is Mr. Official, why can't all games be officiated like that? What are there, 4 flags the whole game? 5?
There was,
I think that was an awesome game from an officiating standpoint.
Yeah.
They let
But why
players play
can't
downfield.
then
Exactly.
but why can't they do this all year long?
I know.
Why do you have to wait until the final game? You know why? Probably because the NFL is like, listen, we get a bad rap that's officiating, let them play in the Super Bowl. So it's everyone's last thought before going into next year. Everything's well officiated. People that don't watch the games like we do. And then, uh, so frustrating. I mean, look, I'm glad it was the way it was, even though the game was terrible. But why can't
Yeah.
you officiate more games like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. The Bronco Bills game was a very well officiated game until it got close to overtime, and then all of a sudden the flags started
Yeah,
coming out. So you let teams play for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden this happens. Super Bowl was officiated well, and had that game been closer, maybe more flags would come out. You notice that flags did come out on Seattle
Mhm.
when they tried to run it up.
That's right.
Kenneth Walker went for a
Yeah.
touchdown. All of a sudden, holding.
You know what?
They-
I didn't
they
even
brought
notice
that
that.
back?
You're right.
Well, Scott, I know you're all over this. Both you guys are. That, of course, the conspiracy about the over, right? Because I think that would have put the game over, would it not?
It would have
And
put the
then
game over. Yeah.
there was like 70% of the dollars for over under were on the over.
Are you kidding?
I think so. I think I heard that. Do I have that right? I think I heard
I
that.
think that's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, come on, really?
I mean, so you can say what you want. People, go with the the fixes in conspiracy or
Wow.
not. But on that particular play, was that really a vicious hold? I didn't think
No,
so. No.
not look uh, in a normal game, the way that things are officiated, that hold is fine. I mean, that is a hold, as I should say.
Yeah.
If that's week 7, Jacksonville and the Jets, that's a hold. But because it's the Super Bowl and it's officiated the way it was, I mean, I guess I'm surprised that they actually threw it the way the game had been going the whole time. But if you're telling me that was true, that 70% was on the
So
over,
that's what I
that's
heard. Yeah,
bad
because
news, man.
the over under was 45 and a half, and the game ended up 42. So,
Unbelievable. I did not know that.
yep.
That's crazy.
Novak, by the way, week 7, it will be Jacksonville versus the Colts.
That's fair. I don't know why I threw the Jets in there. Probably was staring at them on screen. Jacksonville's my example for everything, apparently.
We just have to go with the AFC South matchup, no matter
That's
what.
right.
Anything else from the game or from around the league this week? I know that the Pro Bowl took place while we were
Oh,
off, and I didn't think see a single
no.
minute highlight anything from the game. I don't
They
even
need
know, were the Mannings coaching again, or was this different?
who
No
knows?
idea.
Don't call it the Pro Bowl anymore. Just call it the NFL games or something, and
I know.
name your All Pro team.
Like, what can we do, like Battle of the Network Stars kind of thing? Like,
exactly.
Remember that back, like,
Yeah,
like,
that was the best.
like John Ritter from Three's Companies battling,
In a three-legged race with Suzanne Summers
Kaplan.
and
yeah, Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter. Yeah.
Gabe Kaplan always showed up like the most unathletic dude
Yeah.
out
Lee
there.
Majors.
So why don't we take guys from, like, oh, the Chargers, they were on like ABC the most this year or whatever. So they're going to play for the ABC team, and then you have a Fox team, and you have an ESPN team. That would be the Chiefs, right? Because they're on fucking Monday Night Football 8 times or something like that. So the Chiefs would play for Monday night and just do Battle of Network Stars.
Seriously, why? That would actually be more entertaining
Yeah.
than this BS,
And
fraudulent
yeah.
Pro Bowl.
And do stuff like that. Throw water balloons at each other, like their team, like it just something stupid like that. I'd watch that. I don't know,
like the Brady Bunch sack race, something like that.
or like get the team's cheerleaders out there, have them running around in bikinis and stuff. I'd watch that.
Sure,
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or something. Yeah, why not?
throw it all out. Put the mascots out there. Get Poe
Get the
going
mascots
against
going. Yeah,
Sir Purr, something.
Sir.
Oh, against Sir Purr.
Oh, I think Poe kicks his ass, don't you think?
Well, don't forget, Poe's recovering from ACL surgery, so
3 years now.
he lost
That's
he
true.
lost a little bit in his 40 time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I wanted to bring up was all the changes for the Jets and Giants. Are you getting to that?
I was not, but we could talk about that.
What do you guys think? I mean, the Giants had a lot of coaching additions, and I don't know.
I am psyched. We have a question talking about the offseason, but I am psyched at the fact that not only is John Harbaugh coach, we even are filling out like our not even our
Yeah.
coordinators, but just our regular coaches. We have Callahan now as a QB coach. Callahan's worked with a ton of QBs. So I mean the Giants are sitting pretty, I think. Greg Roman's on the staff. People that Harbaugh's worked with a lot. I think we've put together a professional team in the span of a month, which to me is the best I could have hoped for as a Giant fan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it. I know we're probably going to do that one around the draft and then when the schedule comes out and stuff. But as far as staff additions and subtractions, especially, this is what we were looking for as Giant fans, for sure. And we got it. And starts with Harbaugh, of course. And then I like the additions. I heard some mostly positives, but a couple not negatives about Nagy. So we'll see how that. Obviously, we'll see how it pans out. But I'm on the side of where I think it's a good hire. I actually like the guy.
Matt Nagy's a great. I mean,
Yeah.
like his offensive coordinator pedigree's been great.
For sure. And sometimes when you come to a new team, you're going to be extra motivated. Dart is going to be in his second year, obviously, and man, no, I'm pretty thrilled. I mean, as far as this off season, I was actually excited going into last year's after the draft. We thought we had a good draft. We did, and now I'm glad the season's over, but I'm already looking forward to I'm looking forward to this draft. I'll tell you in April, so that's only a couple months away. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
And Novak,
and
Jets.
my God, you guys should be happy. And what's going on across the stadium and next to Johnson and Sales, and that like it's it's just mind-boggling how dysfunctional an organization can actually be. I mean, you heard the story. They had Wink Martindale and they were going to offer him the job. Aaron Glenn went to Woody and said, "Okay, he's our guy. He's going to need however many millions." And Woody says to him, "Why am I paying him? You're a defensive guy. You be the defensive coordinator. I'm not paying that kind of money because I already paid the guy that you fired."
Yeah.
Which in the corporate world, I kind of agree with them. Like,
Yeah.
you picked the guy, Aaron, and now you want another one in here? So they got rid of him, and now they get Frank Reich, which fine, but and now our defensive coordinator, some guy Ducker from Miami. Like, it just doesn't. Who is a passing game coordinator is our defensive coordinator now. It it is so dysfunctional and messed up, and our GM apparently is telling people that it's the biggest mistake he's ever made, and he wishes he weren't the GM.
Mm.
Like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't end, man. It just doesn't end.
Does
So
not.
I do have a good Frank Reich story. So when Frank Reich was the coach for the Carolina Panthers, Steph and I were looking at flooring for the house, and we were at a I don't know if it was a spring show or whatever at one of the convention centers, but I'm looking at flooring, I'm talking to this guy, and all of a sudden the salesperson's eyes sort of divert to the side. And he goes, "Hey, look, that's Frank Reich." And I look at it. There's a guy there with a Carolina Panthers sweatshirt on. He's standing in line behind me to talk about flooring, just like an average Joe. So
Yeah.
you have
This
an average Joe as your offensive coordinator now.
I don't really give a shit. I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just disaster. Whatever.
Yeah.
Good. Frank Reich. Awesome. Now we got Rex Ryan's kid is our passing game coordinator now. I just oh God, so dysfunctional.
What
Whatever.
I what I really think is the evolution of the coaching trees these days. So think about this: you have a passing game coordinator. The Giants have a QB coach. They have you have a position coach and everything. So these staffs now are 15, 20 people deep. You
Easily.
have assistants to the
Yeah.
assistants. You have a special teams guy. You have a punter guy. You have a guy basically for every position and
Yeah.
people underneath that.
You have like an outside linebacker coach. What?
You said you
20
sounded like the moan as he was building up Rack's confidence. Like, look at you. She can't like assistant to the assistant manager at the movie theater at the Ridgemont Mall as he's trying to court Stacey Hamilton from the
Oh,
pizza place.
I still love the
Hey,
Tyrone,
Rack,
can you
you
help
got
me
Ace's
out?
jacket.
that's the best.
Yeah, that's the all-time best. I still do that with Demo. Like, Rad, Mike, can you pick me up? Can you go? Hey,
Hey.
I'm really kind of busy, Rad. He's watching cartoons.
Cartoons.
So
Oh man,
if we don't have anything else, Novak, pet peeves?
Guess what, fellas?
you got a list, long
I have
list.
I have not a pet peeve.
All
I don't want
right.
to go out. I don't want to go out our last episode angry and spewing hate. So instead of that, in lieu of my pet peeve, I'm going to do the top 10 2025 Three Angry Giant Fans and a Jet Fan podcast moments from this past season.
I love it.
Half of
Now,
them will be me being drunk.
don't. What are you doing? You're killing my vibe here, man. So you guys might not agree
Drum
with
roll.
these. Give me a drum roll. Okay, fine. All right, we'll start. Number 10, the Algerian microchip soccer ball episode, where Scott, if he's not pet peeving about officiating, every now and then he'll throw in one that we don't know where the hell he is coming from.
All right, first off, it was
Algerian
Morocco.
Whatever it was, I got it wrong. But you know what we're talking about. Cardone, Mike, and I were looking at each other like, what the hell is he
What
talking about?
what are we doing here? Yeah.
We're talking about soccer. Number 9, the Mile High Meltdown from the pod where you guys went off about the 33-point
Oh my God,
giant.
yes. Yes.
in
30.
Denver when you guys blew it. I listened back because I had that knee surgery, so I had a lot of time to myself. I listened to a few pods. That one was off the charts anger from you three. It was fantastic.
Love it. 33 points in the fourth quarter will do it.
That is correct. Number eight, I had to throw myself in there a couple of times. We each got two, and then we got a group two. The I've had enough rant for my Jets.
Yes.
I had to put myself in there for
Very
that
good,
one.
Red. That should be
That
number one, actually, or
no,
close
no
to it.
way, not even close. Wait
That's
till you
very
got
good.
wait till I get to number one, Scott.
All right.
Number seven. This is Mike, the intoxicated scorekeeper. That's when we all got hammered at Mully's, and Mike came back and blew his keeping of our scores in one fell swoop. He had us down to like percentage points and the whole thing. He got
Yeah.
drunk one night and we lost it. Number six, Cardone's The Return of the Whopper,
Yeah.
which I thought was a great breakdown of the Whopper. He experienced it in the Wild Card series.
So
or
did
Wild
you.
Card
You were
game.
there.
I was cracking up the whole time. I got to experience the frustration with the Whopper in person. So for me, that was probably my number one, but I have it at number six on our list.
Can I go back to number seven for a second? I had several people talk to me offline about that, saying, "How did you guys mess up what your percentages were?"
Cardone easily won. He was winning by like 5 games. So he got the right person won, but Mike had it. I was at like an 825 winning percentage or something, and all went out the window in one night.
Blame Mully's.
Blame Mully's is right. Number five, me again, the Devoyne shower handle episode.
Oh my
God. Where I got punked like an idiot by Chris Coons, who was telling me that was a real person, and I believed it.
Oh, that's great.
So that was number five. Number four, one of my personal favorites, the barfly. That's when Cardone and I were at Mully's and a barfly sat next to him with the Panther jersey on and said, "You rooting for the Giants?"
Yeah.
After he's draped in Giants gear, that one.
Yeah, she was a winner.
Yeah. But if you got to go back and listen to that one. His description of that experience was off the charts funny. Number three, I put in there the live pod as number three.
Oh, that's a great time. I love the live pod.
Great time.
I've never heard it or saw it ever since then.
Scott's going to post it in the offseason, aren't you, Scott?
Yeah, I was going to post it in the week between, and I couldn't get it to work. So I will fix that. We will get
Gotta
it
watch
up.
that one.
Yep.
Awesome.
Number two, the Christmas Dicks. Mike's breakdown of Santa and Donner. I have as the number two pod. It was I thought was hilarious, on point. We got a lot of positive response on that. So that was number two. Number one, drum roll. The Drunken Host is number one. So I couldn't narrow it down to one.
Which time?
Well, I've got some examples here. And Cardone, I'll let you say your favorite line, but mine was, "I don't think I know that, but I think I do."
I think can I give my favorite now? Like was when it was one of the questions was like, what was it like? What makes you a diehard fan or what, like a rabid fan? And Scott was like, I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta say, hey, like to what?
The other two I have are the pass out.
Oh yeah,
passed out on screen when it was just the three of us. Actually, Mike was out that week.
Mike was out that time.
And then my other one, I have it as lick it up when he spilled the beer.
Oh my gosh!
And instead of wiping it up with a napkin or something, he used his hand and licked his hand for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
It's been a brutal year. This season drove me to drink, literally.
So I'm going to throw my card like Letterman. Those are the top 10 Angry Giant fans and a Jet fan podcast moments, and that's my pet peeve for the day.
Well done, man. That was the glass shattering.
Yep,
Letterman,
glass shattered back there
with the index card.
He throw it back into the skyline. There's nothing there. All right. Well, I hate to follow that, but I'll go
rough
with my pet peeves. I have two. First off, like I mentioned, I was driving back from a wedding, so I was in the car. So I was listening to Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner pregame. And you know how these schmucks every game do their keys to the game. Well, Kurt Warner's key to the game was Seattle cannot settle for field goals. They won't win if they settle for field goals.
Was
These
what was he watching the same game we were watching?
these guys say this every freaking week with no repercussions. We heard it in the divisional game before the Broncos and Patriots game.
Yeah.
So it's like what they just say this shit, and it never really is rooted in fact. Has there really been a time where it's known that you have to score touchdowns over field goals? I mean, you'd prefer to, but does it decide games? I'm not really sure. All I know is that there's been several times this year we've talked about teams taking points, and they don't take points, and they tend to lose those games rather than win.
I tell you, one of my favorite Giant playoff games of all time is the '90 championship game. We did not score a touchdown that
No,
game, and yet it we dethroned the two-time defending Super Bowl champs in the 49ers at Candlestick, the Jeff Hostetler run.
15
Favorite
to
game.
13.
Was
Yeah,
that the
15-13.
Taylor? Was that the Taylor hit on Montana?
It was Leonard
No,
Marshall.
Leonard Marshall.
Lenny Marshall.
Sorry. Leonard
Yes.
Marshall.
Yeah.
But that
But
was that
yes,
game.
that's
Okay.
it
It
was
was
that one.
it was
Yep.
Eric Howard forcing a fumble right at the end.
Yes.
Okay. But I just
Yeah.
remember that hit thinking, my God,
hmm
how's he going to get up?
So I will say
Yeah.
this. We did not get to this. So it was Eric Howard causing a fumble on now Hall of Famer Roger Craig.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the Hall of Fame class this year is Roger Craig, Luke Kuechly, Drew Brees, uh,
Fitzgerald
Larry
Larry Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald,
and
and Adam Vinatieri.
yeah.
And this to me is this should have been a pet peeve, but guys, we're looking at people like Luke Kuechly now, who is making the Hall, where guys like Tiki Barber are left out because we're said his prime is too small.
Yep.
If you compare Tiki Barber to Luke Kuechly, Tiki Barber played more games.
Yes.
He has he's right up there with running backs in terms of total yards. And yet Luke Kuechly's making it. There's no word about his missed time with concussions, all that stuff that happened there. We have a kicker going in, Adam Vinatieri before Eli Manning. We have Roger Craig going into the Hall, who was a very good two-way player, but he's going in again ahead of Tiki Barber, ahead of Eli Manning. It's mind-boggling to me.
It's funny about Roger Craig. I thought he was already in. I didn't know he wasn't in.
I
When
didn't
his
either.
name came, I was thinking, I'm like, isn't he already in? Was he getting in again? What's going on? And the Kuechly one, I was thinking, is there a play in that Kuechly has out there that you're like, remember that play? Remember that fucking play Kuechly had in a play, like a playoff game or something that like just there's a signature play or something. It's so funny. I was with Kuechly. I was talking to my brother. He said one of his friends. He didn't know who the guy was, and he's a football fan. One of his buddies was like, Kuechly, who is that? What? And he's like, it was on the Panthers. When? Like, they couldn't even like figure out when this guy was playing.
I'm telling you, I think this is New York bias. I think I texted you guys this, and the reason
Yeah.
I believe that is because it's not just it's sports writers who are a lot of the voters, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the pinnacle for sports writers is New York. You want to get to New York, right? That you're going to make the most money, you get the most visibility and all that. And I think these guys don't get there, and they're like, "F them. I'm going to get some linebacker from the Panthers who
Yeah.
great player, great guy. Don't get me wrong. And I
Yeah.
think he was great in his time. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, he was second year.
Second year.
Second year. Is he a second year
Still.
Hall of Famer?
No.
No, he's not. I mean, it's a joke. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And look, I'm not a Giants fan. I wasn't really particularly an Eli Manning fan. He deserves to be in, and there's no question about it.
Yeah, he may get in when I'm 75, the way it's going.
It doesn't
He-
make any sense.
You guys know how I feel. I mean, certainly know how I feel about Eli Manning. I've never made any secret about that. Love the guy, always did. And I'm at the point now. This is again more distance between me and the NFL. I mean, I love doing this pod. I love watching the. You guys know I love all that stuff. But this is the kind of stuff where I just don't give a shit. Like I don't fucking care anymore. Get in, don't get in, make him wait. tell me again that he has a 500 career record. Do all the arguments against him. I just don't care anymore. Get in 7 years. Don't you know, for the next we may see for the next 7 years like oh the general consensus is that he's eventually going to get in. Who cares? I doesn't put him in or don't. I just
Yeah.
I'll be happy when he gets in but now I'm not expecting him to get in for years now because you got Roethlisberger and Brady and Rodgers and Rivers and all those guys. We all know who's the list.
Yep.
Breeze was the first one since last year. We know the list, and Eli's not going with. He's not going with those guys.
Well,
He's certainly not
Roethlisberger's
going
next year.
right, and
So,
he's first ballot.
yeah,
Well,
I
and
would think.
if Rivers
I think
makes
he
it
is.
before Eli, that's where
Yeah,
I draw the line.
Well, he can't now because it's gonna be 5 years.
Well, I know, but
Yeah,
you
but
never know. Well, yeah, probably not, but
I don't think there's any way Rivers would have gotten in before it. Yeah, I mean, if they did, then it's so flawed.
but
I mean, he didn't even make the Super Bowl, let alone win two.
But I think it
right,
was is Novak that made the point earlier in our text thread about Roger Craig. It's like this he hasn't made it for how many years? This is the year he has to
right.
make it.
Yeah.
And I think about that with even with Adam Vinatieri. You're making a guy like Eli wait. Adam Vinatieri's getting in. And I think to myself too, there's another guy who's getting screwed here. You know, Harry Carson waited forever to get into the Hall. He's one of the great Giants. Tiki Barber, to me, if you look at his
Oh,
stats, he should be in the Hall, especially based on some of the people that are getting now. The
Hmm.
argument with Tiki Barber was always that his prime was too short. Well, what do you call Luke Kuechly's prime? The guy was concussed for almost his entire career.
yeah.
Yeah. And Luke Tiki Barber is probably going to be Roger Craig in 25 years. We'll all be dead and gone. But I mean, he might be.
I mean, yeah, Tiki's, and you look at his numbers. Like I don't know what, like I don't have his averages, but if you look at his average yards and all, and for per year, I don't know where it ranks. Career wise, I'm sure it's way near the top because
Oh
I
yeah.
think he
Yeah.
only did play.
He played 10 years,
He did play 10
which is
years.
not it's not that short for a running back.
No, and he was playing
It's
in an era where obviously defense were a lot tougher.
yeah,
The penalties weren't coming as much. There was
yeah.
you had actual workhorse backs back then that you don't now. You've got the committee bullshit that you've got going on.
He played like 30 more games than Luke Kuechly.
That's
That's
two seasons.
two seasons.
Yeah.
It's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway, my first pet peeve sort of tailed off into that one. My second pet peeve is sort of something Novak touched upon earlier, and it's the recency bias, but it's also that rush to make everything the best ever. Like
Mm.
what I heard in the aftermath of this Super Bowl, we talked about the Seattle D being pretty good, but what I heard is that this was one of the best defensive performances of all time in a Super Bowl by two teams, the best two Ds in the Super Bowl. And instead of discussing the shitty play by May and Darnold, we're now trying to attribute it to the two defenses being strong. And I just don't see it. I mean, to me, watching that game, New England couldn't do much. Seattle kind of did a lot. Seattle just didn't score touchdowns, but they moved the ball. New England's defense isn't that great. And to be honest with you, if you look over the year, Seattle's defense was decent, but think about the games they played against the Rams. The Rams moved the ball against that team. It's not like we're looking
Yeah.
at the Bears or the Ravens or teams
Ravens.
that were so
Or
dominant through a playoff run where you're like, oh, that the defense is exactly why that team won.
That Seahawks defense can't sniff the Legion of Boom
No,
defense.
no.
no.
Don't forget that
It-
defense had Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl in his good year, not when he was, a washed up
Oh,
loser when he
yeah.
beat the Panthers.
Yeah, and embarrassed that offense.
Totally.
That Legion of Boom team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that-
this was it Dark Side, right?
The
They go
dark
by?
side, get out of here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is-
they weren't as good as they listen, they're obviously just won a Super Bowl, so they have a chance to build on this and get better as
Sure.
a unit. 10. But yeah, that Legion of Boom, that was a frightening defense, man. That
Oh my
Seattle
that
yeah,
Cam Chancellor and Richard
Yeah.
Sherman. I
that was
mean,
frightening.
frightening is right. I mean, that
Yeah.
was much better defense. Now, look, you're right though, Cardone. If they do this again next year, got to give them
Well,
credit, right? You get back there again, like the Legion of Boom
exactly.
did.
Yeah.
But no, one game, one season. No, I'm sorry, it's not an all-time defense.
Yeah. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole here, but the way people fawned upon themselves on that Super Bowl halftime performance,
Oh,
you knew what the backlash was going to be going in. I mean, you can't say anything negative about it because if you do, you're branded a racist. But you cannot call that Super Bowl performance halftime the best ever with a straight face and say it. I'm sorry, the game itself as a whole was terrible. And I still stand by the fact the worst halftime show I ever saw was by Maroon 5.
Was
And
bad.
and I mean that's going to stand in infamy. I I don't care enough about halftime shows. I don't care enough about the ancillary parts of the game to really get in a rough about this, but enough people were so pissed off, and it's all because we know why it's because it's political. And I hate the fact that sports and politics have crossed here. That's my biggest gripe about this whole thing.
that's why I don't watch it. I won't. I did like halftime shows is I particularly didn't watch this year's, and I don't watch any year. I just don't. I leave that for the non-football fans. Let them worry or watch that kind of stuff. I watch the Super Bowl for the football. That's it. I don't watch. And I'll get into one of my pet peeves on one of the other things that is about this whole production, but I don't watch any of it, Scott. I just don't.
Yep. And with that, Cardone,
Yeah,
I'll dovetail to your for
sounds good.
pet
Yeah.
peeves.
Yeah, I love both your guys season-ending pet peeves here. I don't quite have a list that Novak did, but quite impressive, my friend. But I do have a couple. And so yeah, speaking of the non-football stuff, my first pet peeve, I have two of them, is just every single prop bet that goes from start to finish of this production, this broadcast, starting with how long the national anthem is going to be. You still have the staples. Remember when that used to be a novelty, like how long, like when whatever first year that came out. Now it starts with like how long the national anthem is going to be, the coin flip, all the way down to the fucking color of the Gatorade splash and what that's going to be, on the coach. So I tell you what, I made up my own prop bet in my house watching with Cole, who dubbed again the infamous line, "You love to hate the stuff you love." Um, I'm sitting there during the first commercial. I sit there intentionally with a puss on my face, trying to be as miserable as I can during his commercials. I said, "You want a fucking prop bet, America? I'll give you five. I'll give you like nothing odds. Make Chris Cardone laugh during one of these Super Bowl commercials, and what's the over under on that? There's your prop bet, America. Okay." So Cole's looking at me every one of these commercials. I don't know about you guys. I watch these commercials. I used to really enjoy that part of it too. That was always a big part of it was just part of the fun. I just don't. I sit there and now I intentionally make sure I don't laugh, I guess, a little bit, but I'm not even tempted to laugh. I think the only one that may have where I moved a finger was the what was it, the one with Costanza with the old
Ah,
it was
The Dunkin'
the
Donuts
Duncan
one.
one.
the
Yeah,
way they all were back in the
Yeah,
old AI.
yeah.
That
I
was the only commercial. I may have moved a little bit in my seat. I
did you
still don't
see
know if I
the
came over with a chuckle or a laugh. I just moved.
did you see
Yeah.
the Peyton Manning Bud Light one too, where the
Yeah.
kegs going down the hill?
Eh,
I enjoyed that
that
one.
was okay.
Yeah. That was okay, but I
But
just
you're
can't
right.
remember. That's the other part of the whole day, if you will, where I didn't laugh once. Not even close. So
No.
so Cole was looking at me the entire game. He's like, "Is that one you got any?" I'm like, "No, nothing." I was thinking about you guys. I was thinking about Frank. I'm like, "Is anyone else who's laughing at this stuff?" I don't know. So
Well, they were trying to tear at your heartstrings with a bunch of them too, and I'm like, come on, this is the
yeah,
Super Bowl. I don't want to be like, whatever.
yeah. But I tell you, so it's the prop bets. I can't stand them anymore. But and then the second one. We know about when some I so when a guy runs on the field, right? We don't, I've always hated the fact that we can't show the guy.
I know.
Why can't we just show the guy, right? That's not even my peeve. My real peeve are a couple things. Is actually, do you ever see, of course, the day after when all the videos are uploaded from people's phones from the stadium and you get to see all the
Yes.
different angles. Here's the angle. I love that version of it because you get to see the guy coming out of the stands.
It
So I
gets
don't know if you saw the one where my peeve are these fucking just like Austin Powers in Austin Powers, A Spy Who Shagged Me. All we gotta do is get past that one inept guard and we're in. You know what I mean? Remember that scene?
I do remember that.
Okay, with Felicity
Yeah.
Shagwell, we just gotta get
Yeah.
past the and Yeah, she shows him her breast, and the guy's like, "Mommy," and he falls into a fucking pit of fire. You know what I mean? Like into a lot. So that's
Uh,
like who's controlling the security around the stadium. So the guy leaps from the stands. The security guard makes this pathetic effort to tackle the guy. He easily gets past him, and then the guy who made it to the field runs out there. But what really here's my final peeve really is there's always that one security guard that gets juked out so bad by some 300-pound fat drunk guy with no shirt on. And then after the guy gets juked and is embarrassed, his security mates get the guy on the ground. They tackle him like 20 yards later. There's 6 guys, and then there's the guy diving on top of the pile, the security guard, after he got his jock strap left like ripped out on the field. I'm like, oh yeah, now you're making a big tackle, asshole. My pet peeves is the late tackling on the pile security guard when he previously got juked out on the 50-yard line.
No, I think
he got a torn ACL.
Novak will love this because in the aftermath of the game, there were memes about the streaker having more rushing yards than the Patriots, and there were memes about Bad Bunny walking further than the Patriots had
Yeah.
in his halftime show.
But you're right, Cardone. That is hilarious that you noticed that, and I really didn't
Oh
until
yeah.
you said it. And then you're right. Like the guy just was
Yeah.
on the ground, and then he comes in. He's just
But
got
it's
to
so
feel the need to
the
insert
same thing
himself.
happens every time. There's
It does.
two guys like security guards that are look like they haven't been inside a gym in their entire lives. They get juked out in the middle of the field, and then they're the ones diving on the pile after the guy's already, he's
Hilarious.
he's already he's already been subdued. He's already like cuffed,
Uh,
and then the guy dives on the pile after that. Like, oh wow, man, you're really what a security effort there, buddy.
they needed 5 of them to get this one guy down too.
Yeah.
Hey, you do
And the one
that.
video I saw, the guy was like laughing the whole time. I
He
don't know if you
was.
saw that one.
Yeah, it was great.
As he's getting tackled,
Yep.
he's like,
He could have cared less.
Yeah,
You do that as a security guard in Philadelphia, you become a cult hero.
that's true.
Oh, Big Dom.
Oh God, see,
Which, by
just
the
the fact
way,
that we,
by his name, Big Dom. You know,
just
he's
the
a
fact
big
that we
fat
know his
guy.
name is annoying. Exactly.
So we got several questions tonight. Peacock starts, so Peacock Corner, and he says, if we were the commissioner for a day, which rule change would we make if we could? Um, and I'll take this one because I want to get in before Cardone on
This
this.
car doesn't even need to answer.
My rule
Yeah.
change has been probably the same answer I've given for the last 20 years. Run the clock after someone goes out, or don't run the clock if someone goes out of bounds.
Right.
Oh,
This
that's
whole
the one.
shit with stopping
That's the one I
people.
was gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would definitely be go back to the old clock where you go out of bounds, stop the fucking clock, right? We know that one. But I tell you what, I would go back to the original kickoff. Get rid of the fucking. I don't know about you guys. Like that,
Yeah.
it's actually better this year. But I just want to see the regular kickoff come back and just have guys screaming down the field at full speed from across the field. I'm still not a fan of this dynamic kickoff. I'm just not. I go back to the original, the way it originally was. That and the onside kick. Let's bring that back too.
Yep, I agree with you there. I mean, if I'm going to get more deep, the one rule I hate more than any is the fumbling the football out of the end zone. The other team gets it
Oh.
back on the 20-yard line. I've always hated that. It makes no sense to me. Why is that a turnover? So I would get rid of that one. That's my most hated.
It's a good one.
Peacock also asks, do the Jets miss players like Darren Lee, guys
Ugh.
willing to go the extra mile to get the job done?
I mean, Peacock has gotten worse as the season goes on with putting us in a position where we've got to answer these questions between Rob Reiner and now another murderer. I mean, so I don't know. What am I going to say to this, Peacock? What are you doing? I don't know. No, I don't want anything to do with Darren Lee. We got Mark Sanchez, trying to kill people drunkenly, like another Jet, just disaster. What a year.
Forgot about Sanchez. God damn. It's
Right.
been a long year.
Peacock
Yeah.
he loves turning the screw on us.
He has enjoyed turning the screw on me, particularly over the last like 5 weeks.
Yes.
Hey, we got it with the missing giant, Sam
That's-
Beal.
That's
That's true.
So he also asks, what do we do on Sundays in the off season? Um, I enjoy myself. Oh, I'll tell you this, a lot of times, especially during the summer, I mean, Steph and I are traveling, we're at the beach, we're going to see the kids or something like that. But I the good thing about the Sundays in the off season is that I don't have to worry about devoting my day to misery.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. At least with the Giants for sure. But I mean, hang on a second. I got some volume in my thing in my ear. Hang on. There we go. Um, I'm a year-round sports fan. So like I'll turn my attention to to March Madness and college basketball now. So those are like, for the next several Sundays, watch a lot of college basketball. And I tell you, one of my favorite things to do in the spring and the summer is watch golf on
Golf,
Sundays.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
The final round
So
of golf is good, yeah.
I mean, Sunday at the Masters.
It's my favorite.
Aside from football, probably my favorite Sunday sports Sunday of the year.
That that
No question.
that week of March Madness usually ends on Monday, and then you
Yeah,
go right into the Masters on
you go right
Thursday
into the
is
Masters,
the best week of the year.
and then
Other than football, of course, but
absolutely. And they stockpiled all the majors, month after month. So like you
hmm
got, the PGA, then you got US Open and the Open. I still call it the British Open.
Yep.
4 consecutive months. So there's Sundays in there. There you're watching, major golf, and then I just like even some of the other tournaments as well. So I do that. I just watch
Yeah.
sports all year round, man. All year.
I
Actually,
mean,
some Sundays I'm out playing golf.
That
yeah,
too.
I'm particularly excited about the UFL this year. This Fakakta football, but no, I'm not watching that crap.
My son actually asked me tonight, he's like, so what do we have left right now? The NFL or the NHL and the NBA? And I was like, well, you don't even have the NHL because
Well,
they're
the
on
Rangers are out.
break.
I could give a shit.
Well, yeah, and I'm wearing the Rangers right now. But
Yeah,
I told him the NHL right now is on break because they're doing the Olympics. So
Yeah,
they're not even playing until next week.
that's
yep.
right. Yeah.
So Peacock also says that he loves listening to the podcast. He was very happy that we were able to take his mind off the Cowboys this year, and he wishes us the best in the offseason, which we'll get to at the end of the pod.
Yep.
So my friend Mike also asks a couple questions. He asks, how much time do we spend studying about on players ahead of the draft, and where do you go for your info? And personally, I can't. I was actually with my son tonight watching. We were at Wing King in Fort Mill, so we were having dinner. And we're watching the TV, and they were doing a mock draft on the side. And I said, "What the fuck is this?" It's February 11th. There's a guy in a mock draft, and not only that, he had the Giants picking a safety number one. He also had the Chiefs picking a running back in the first round at like pick 8. So I honestly don't spend a lot of time studying up on players. I don't care about the draft all that much. The draft is not one of my favorite things. I know there's a lot of guys that love the draft. They do mock drafts. I am not one of those. And so where do I go for my info? I go to ESPN while the draft is airing.
Yeah.
Maybe the NFL Network. I actually go to the NFL Network, I think more. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch enough college football around, to know guys outside of the first half of the first round, really. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
maybe even come draft night, certainly like watching, the first night, right? It's the whole first round. So, but as soon as that's about as much as I'll pay attention to, in terms of like who should be going where, I think, and then like where are the Giants going to make a move? Are they going to move up and down, that kind of stuff. But as soon as you get to like the second and third rounds, I'm looking to see. I don't know these guys. I don't know the players.
hmm
For the Giants, I'm looking to see what position did we draft.
Right.
That's it. I don't know who they are. I
Yeah.
will say this though. Last year, like because of the bowl game with Scadaboo. I mean, I certainly knew a lot about Cam Scadaboo going into at the from the bowl game. So when the Giants got him in the fourth round, I was pretty freaking jacked up about that. And he panned out obviously until he got hurt. But looking forward to him coming back, healthy next year. So, but no, I mean, I don't. It's not like I'm sitting there studying, third, fourth, fifth round draft. Who's coming off the board in the fifth round? No.
I don't I'm sort of the same. I do maybe do a little bit of only if I know that the Jets are in need of a lot of things, which they usually are. So I will try to somewhat inform myself for the first couple rounds. But once the draft hits, then then it's who do, really I know a cornerback from Western Michigan. Like I don't know. Then I'll watch the draft and I'll watch the Jets. I'll leave and I'll come back and I'll time it so that I watch them pick. And all I care about is like if the commentators say good value at that spot. Other
Right.
than that, I really don't care.
Yeah.
So Mike also asks if we could award a most improved player award on offense and defense, which players would we pick on the Jets and Giants? Um, I look. I mean, there's been a lot of improvement you see from year to year on a team that's as bad as the Giants. If I had to pick one on offense for the Giants, I'd probably pick Daniel Bellinger maybe on offense, and on defense maybe Tyler Nubin. I I don't know. I'm just throwing
Yeah.
stones there.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Offense, the first name, probably Wandale. I think
Yeah, he's
not
very
that
good. Yeah, you're right.
his statistically wise, he had his best career year, and the guy he had a number of big games. I'd probably go Wandale Robinson as kind of year over year best improved. Defensively, it's a lot tougher. 'Cause I don't feel like anyone stood. I mean, Brian Burns had a great year. So, I mean, if I had to say maybe from the year prior, Burns, but, right, I don't know. I'm trying to think defensively.
Yeah,
Nobody else, no one, I can't think of anyone who stands out really.
yeah, you're probably
Sexy
right.
Dexy certainly took a step back. I'll say that.
Although people like doing his dance.
Yeah, that's
That's been the big thing
yeah.
lately. Everyone's doing his dance.
I mean, for the Jets, I mean, I guess our left tackle, Olu Fashanu, had a pretty good year. He played every game, and he's a solid left tackle, which, as you know, is a cornerstone position that you have to have. So I'm kind of excited about him. Defense, we got rid of our two best defensive players. We're awful on defense. I guess, Jamie and Sherwood uh, is a linebacker. I thought played okay, even though apparently he had a bad year, but he seemed to be around the ball a lot. I don't know. I guess him. Like, God, it's just pathetic.
It's tough. It's tough on a team as bad as our teams were to pick most
And we
improved.
got three
Yeah.
wins. We lit up 35
Yeah.
points every game. How can I pick a good defensive player?
Can't.
So probably a question more for me and Cardone. Do we think the Giants will open next season with a veteran free agent kicker and punter or go with rookies? I think we will sign a punter. We might go with the kicker we ended up with at the end of the year. He was not half bad.
I, I'd like to see both replaced. I would. I know what Saul's right. I mean, he kicked okay, but I'd rather have a proven guy.
Well, I'd like to have a
Um,
proven guy, but
yeah,
maybe he's the
and
guy. You never know. I mean,
and please don't make me talk about Jamie Gillian, the Hammer. I just don't.
Let's not that be the last thing Cardone talks
You
about
know,
this year is Jamie Gillian.
just cannot talk that. I'm not going to talk about the Hammer. I mean, I want that guy shipped fucking back in a plastic bag back to Scotland or wherever, and just get out of my country, go away, get off my roster.
I think there's not a chance in hell you guys have rookie kickers or punters. Harbaugh's a special teams guy.
yeah.
He had
Yeah,
Justin Tucker his whole
Justin
life.
Tucker
He's
for a
not going to
decade.
go for some rookie and
No,
chance losing a game. And he knows, and you guys will love this. He knows how important special teams are. There's
I
no
wouldn't
chance in
mind having
hell.
I wouldn't mind having Justin
I
Tucker
was
as
going to
my
say I
kicker.
wouldn't mind having
Of
Justin
course not.
Tucker might be he could he's in the running.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
So
If there's a way he could massage that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Mike also asks, do we experience any NFL withdrawal after the Super Bowl? And do we feel like we need a break? And then he also throws in, similar to Peacock, he just wanted to thank us again for another year of the podcast and helping him get through another, losing and miserable season. So, from my standpoint, I never really think about withdrawal. I do want to break sometimes from the NFL just from this fact that, season's here, it's done. We have a couple months before free agency. We have a couple months before the combine, all that stuff. But from a withdrawal standpoint, you know what? Things go on, especially since the Giants and the Jets too. We've been out of it since before Halloween,
Yeah. I
you know?
miss I miss things like, this I miss saying Sala, like stuff like that. I miss, like our trips to Mully's is
Hmm.
about as fun as he gets. I mean, I think we, just it's just a just I love going there with you guys.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
fun.
fun. So the stuff around the Sundays is definitely gonna, miss that a little bit. But you know what? I feel like the off season doesn't feel as long as it used to for some reason. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? The weeks and months fly by. You got, draft and then the schedule and then training camp and or a mini camp and all. So I watch a lot of sports, like I said before. So I'll immediately focus now on college hoops and then NHL, NBA playoffs and all that stuff. So I don't it's okay. I mean, I'll I'll miss it a little bit, but no, I'm okay.
I have the almost the same exact year every year. I don't go through withdrawal initially. I'm fine until like mid-June. And then I'm like, okay, I got like enough. Baseball is fine, but it's getting a little boring. Once we get past the second or third major of golf, I'm like, I'm ready for football to get back. But no, I don't care until about then.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'll want it back. And then we got to sit through that god awful preseason.
So I think mid-June is when the USFL final is happening or something like
Mm.
Well, I will have that, so that'll be helpful this year.
that. And we did have another question come in, didn't we, Novak?
Yes. What are your predictions for the Jets and Giants record? We know it's early, but what is it for next year?
Oh,
So if I have to go with a prediction for next year, yeah, I'm being bullish here. I am picking the Giants with 10 wins. So I'm taking the Giants at 10-7.
there he goes.
John Harbaugh is going to make an immediate impact. For the Jets, I see the Jets being unfortunately about 5-12.
Yeah. So just so we're clear, Mike said Jets 3-14, Giants 9-8. He texted that because he knew the question. I sort of align with Mike. I think here's the thing with the Jets. The Jets will be 4-13 and be the third pick in the draft and miss out on the two best quarterbacks coming out. They will win a meaningless game. The Giants, I think, are going to be very good. I actually have the Giants at 11-6, and I
Wow.
think I think
Wow.
they are the Patriots of this year. I'm not saying they're going to Super Bowl. I'm not saying that, but I think this Harbaugh thing is going to change the culture of this team. I like the Giants a lot with what you've got. Neighbors coming back, the whole thing. I think the Giants are 11-6.
Damn, that would be amazing. Um, I certainly don't have my I'm not that optimistic, I guess. I'll start with the Jet. I had the Jet 4-13 was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah.
That just sounds like who they are, what they
Yep.
are. 4 wins,
Yep.
you get a couple of those throughout the year. So I have the Jets at 4-13. We know the reasons why. The Giants are a little harder to predict, obviously, with all the changes that we guys just mentioned. Um, but I have them. I wasn't sure. I actually was teetering right around 500, but because of that 17th fucking game, right? But as Mike always says, we can't just have the solid 8-8 anymore or the even numbers. So because they have the extra home game this year, which the Giants suck at home anyway, met death. But I did give them that. I got the Giants at 9-8, but missing the playoffs though. I don't think 9-8 would be good enough to make the playoffs. So that's where I've got them. We'll see. I
By the
think we'll.
way, in last year I bet on both the Giants and the Jets on the
And you
over.
lost.
I lost on both.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yes. So, guys, we're at the end of the podcast. This is always one of my saddest times of the year because we love doing this. We'll be back, but we won't be back probably until the end of the combine, the free agency period. Then we'll come back and do the schedule release. We'll do a draft recap, all of that kind of stuff. But we generally aren't back until probably close to April.
April. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we get
Yeah.
a Justin Fields signing and have to do an
Right.
emergency pod again.
Emergency pod like we did last year.
Let me just say this. I want to say this before we sign off.
That was
There
great.
is there is an emergency pod situation that's going to happen again. If one of these two players is a Jet, we're doing an emergency pod, and
All right.
that's Shador Sanders or
Yes,
Deshaun Watson. If one of those
absolutely.
two guys is under center for the Jets, we're doing an emergency pod, and I'm going to explode.
Let's do it. I am on board with that all the way. Yes.
But
So,
guys, like we do it at the end of every year, I want to thank all of our listeners. We've had a fantastic year six. It's been trying out a lot of us. We Novak's recap of the best top 10 podcast moments of this year has been great. We had a lot of really good moments.
Yeah.
Um, this guy right here has been drunk through most of 2025. Um, but next year I'm looking at John Harbaugh coming in. I'm like, this dude is good for my liver. So
Yeah.
I think I think we might be good. Um, Also, we'll probably end up doing a live pod again next year. So you'll
Definitely.
see us post the live pod in the next couple of weeks. But look for us in the off season doing the live pod again in Charlotte. So if you're in the Charlotte area, come and see us. We appreciate all the feedback, all the guys that contribute us to us. You know, Peacock, my friend Mike. You guys have been great. We'll have some guests on in the off season as well as next year too. So
Yeah.
I actually talked to a couple of Cowboy fans who are interested in coming on the pod. So
Oh,
it'll be good to introduce those guys here. So
yeah. Yeah, no, another wrapping up another great year. It's so much fun doing this with you guys. So thanks to you, thanks to my co-hosts, Mike, who's not on tonight, of course, but you three guys, just this is just just a lot of fun, man, a blast. And Scott, you just mentioned Peacock and Mike and the guys that sending questions. Thanks to those guys every week for giving us additional content and stuff to talk about. So we do this for enjoyment and for fun and just hopefully just make people laugh, man. That's what it's about. So that's all we're trying to do and get a little, it's like therapy for us. We've talked about that before too. So it absolutely is therapy. So our teams are so miserable and decrepit they have been. So to come on here and talk about it and just vent it out makes it a little bit, a little less painful for sure. A lot less painful.
Couldn't
So
have
thanks
said
to you
it.
guys. Yeah. And
Yeah.
thanks to everybody.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. I'd so much enjoy it, and I think this is the first year I didn't feel like the fourth wheel. So I appreciate you guys bringing me in for some additional content for the Jets, and for any Jet listeners that are out there, I appreciate being part of that. I enjoy this more than anything. I really do, and I'm going to miss it for the next couple of months. But we'll be back. I'd love to do some we try to do something different every year, right? Whether it's a do format for a live pod, maybe we'll have some guests. I got some live stream stuff thinking about maybe that we'll do. So be on the lookout. We're going to try to shake it up again
Yeah.
next year, and hopefully everyone comes back.
we need Darren to help out with the IT
Yeah.
part so
Yeah,
he can
that's
get us going.
yeah,
Right.
All right, everyone. We appreciate 2025, 2026. And we welcome everyone back to the new year, but thank everyone for the participation, and we'll see you next year.
See ya.
See you.